Okay, thanks, Johan. So I'm Alon, and this is Jonathan. And today we're going to speak about a product that is very dear to our hearts, called HP Anywhere. We're going to start by presenting the source and the motivation of creating HP Anywhere. This will be followed by the architecture and the solution of HP Anywhere. And this, afterwards, we will go over, as Johan said, a live demo of HP Anywhere using two devices, smartphone and tablet, actually projected side by side. So stay tuned for that. So I want to start by talking a bit about the nexus of forces concept and what exactly that is. So research over the past few years has shown the great evolution of four powerful forces: mobile, social, cloud, and information. Now, as a result of the consumerization of smart connected devices, all of the smartphones and tablets we all have, people's behavior has caused the convergence of these forces into what we call the nexus of forces. This is a term brought to us by Gartner, by the way. So although each and every one of these forces is disruptive and innovative of their own, together they're actually revolutionizing business and society and disruptive all business models. In general, the nexus of forces is the basis of the technology platform of the future. Now let's start with mobility. Mobility is obviously the fastest growing force among these forces. We all know that people today are using the devices and spending the time differently, and this one creates opportunities, new opportunities in the industry for all of us. This also accelerates social behavior as well. We are all familiar with social media services like Facebook and Twitter, but beyond individual use, enterprises are discovering social media services, especially aimed for the enterprises, for the business, and actually rely on other nexus forces. Cloud computing. Cloud computing is actually the glue that holds all of these forces together. This is the platform of the social and mobile components I've just talked about. And finally, information. It is important to understand how to adjust the IT strategy in order to take advantage of the mobile, social, and cloud components, and in order to take advantage of the nexus of forces. Later on, we'll see how HP Anywhere implements the vision of the nexus of forces. But first, let's talk about what's going on in the industry and how mobility actually changes the enterprise. So everyone here obviously agrees with me that this era is the mobile era. Projections, IT projections for 2013 has shown mobility is the most widely discussed topic in 2013. Now we are witnessing a few interesting trends here. First, people are bringing their own devices to the organization, what we call the BYOD concept. You all heard about that. So now enterprises have to create apps for that, have to support all of these devices, and they have to keep in mind concepts like security, right? Another interesting trend here is the consumerization of these enterprise apps. A lot of people have a lot of mobile apps on the smartphone and tablets, cool applications, and they expect the enterprise applications to behave the same. They want to have cool enterprise applications. They want to have great features on that. But not the old and boring enterprise applications. And finally, it's productivity. We know that productivity is highly attached with mobility. Obviously, when a salesperson goes into a sale, it will be much easier along with an app that presents the catalog, for example. Now we'll go over, we had all of these trends in mind when we created HP Anywhere. So, what exactly is HP Anywhere? So basically, HP Anywhere is a mobile platform that implements the vision of modernize and mobilize the workforce. But really, what stands behind those marketing words? So we're talking about a mobility platform that supports all of the various form factors: smartphone, tablet, and desktop. And actually, we support all of the various personas as well. We have tools for developers, tools for admin, and consumer. But basically, HP Anywhere is a platform that hosts a lot of applications, a lot of granular miniature applications that have a very specific functionality. For example, defects management is an application. Requirements management is an application. And all of these applications can actually interact with each other using what we call unstructured integration. Jonathan now will speak in more depth about our solution.
Thanks, Alon. So now we've heard a little bit about the vision, where we're coming from. Let's go down a little bit more into HP Anywhere and what are the various parts and how they play together. So really there's three major parts inside HP Anywhere. There's the HP Anywhere server. That's like the main glue that combines obviously the front end and the back end, all the back end applications and systems that you're going to modernize and put some new applications on top of them. Jump to the bottom, there's the HP Anywhere container. They're the client applications that sits on your device, whether it's on your phone or your tablet, and that's where the main user interaction occurs. And so this is all like kind of the platform part. And then there's the applications that run on top of it. Now, the applications generally, each enterprise have their own applications, and they're the ones that give the access and provide the functionality for the specific domain that each application deals with. Now, the container, of course, adds all the extra social and other layers together, easily allowing the applications to take advantage of the user, take advantage of these capabilities. And you see that. So here's kind of a high-level architecture. Now, this is kind of a scary slide. Trying to find a balance between giving a little meat, but try to keep it accessible. So actually, this is going to be on the poster too, and so we can drill down there more. Let's kind of walk through the slide and some of the key takeaways. So what do we see on your far left? Kind of represents the container. That's this native application that runs on your device, which provides all our extra functionality, the collaboration, and the catalog, and all that kind of stuff, and the applications there. Coming across the internet, we come on to the right side is the HP Anywhere server, and that's, again, we provide all the server functionality for our, the function that we provide. And then there's all the various back-end systems which actually do the real work, the systems of record for what's going on. So we have the applications, so we can see here the flow. How they have the container running on the device, and that's sitting out in the world, of course. The device is everywhere. It's not just necessarily within the VPN of a company. So it's across the internet talking to our server, which just sits inside the enterprise, and then we have the back-end pieces. Another thing we can see are the purple boxes is that applications written for HP Anywhere really can have two parts. There's the lion's share, 80–90% of the application is obviously going to be what's running inside the device, on the user's phone or his tablet or on the desktop. That's where the major functionality, the major interaction, that's where most of that's happening. But there's a second piece that can be written that can run inside our HP Anywhere server. This is there because you might need some transformation, some server-type logic, getting from your device to this back-end system. This might be some legacy system. That's some primitive set of APIs, not really ready for this type of model. So you need some piece to stick a little extra server logic to do that transformation. Or you need to be able to connect to the back-end system. To write these APIs or use whatever SDK are needed to talk to your back-end system. So those fit in, and those applications then live inside the ecosystem of HP Anywhere and use that extra functionality. The last thing to take away from this is that security box in the middle. So HP Anywhere comes the full security layer, and it integrates with an enterprise solution. This is key when you're going into the enterprise space. Enterprises come with their requirements, their security models, their single sign-on models. HP, we have here currently SiteMinder. HP IT is rolling out a new solution, and other companies have their other single sign-on approaches. And so HP Anywhere needs to become part of that ecosystem. It needs to feel as part of the whole solution, both for the user's perspective and for the administrator's perspective, so they can control it and have their single security model across all their applications. So HP Anywhere integrates then with the company's SSO solution and the user management, whether it's LDAP or however your company tracks their users. And so it becomes part of the solution. Now, it's also the app itself doesn't need to deal with any of that. Because it's running as part of the HP Anywhere ecosystem, the app can focus on its logic of giving functionality to the user and connecting to the backend. And all the security, the token management, all those complex kind of processes, and the tricky things, each app writer doesn't need to deal with anymore. They write their logic, and it runs inside HP Anywhere, which gives them that access to that functionality out of the box for them. So between all this together, we really address the needs of three different personas. There's the developer, the person who needs to write all those applications. So we help them in a number of ways. By the technology of the container and how it works, they can write their application one time and it'll run across iOS and Android and other operating systems. And across the various form factors. You can write the same application and it can run different form factors. Or you might want to adjust their UI depending on the layout, but we have the tools and we give them those capabilities of doing that. I mean, we didn't talk about it so much, but on the side, as part of the HP Anywhere ecosystem, we have a whole developer lifecycle. We have an Eclipse IDE, we have a powerful simulator where developers can test their applications before pushing them out to a production HP Anywhere server. And of course, all the documentation and cookbooks and forums. The next person is the employee, which is really the main focus of it all. Now, we're going to give access to them to some new ways of working with your enterprise. It's not just your old enterprise applications. It's a whole new way. It's on the device. It's chatting. It's collaboration. It's that social fabric that ties everything together. The user now has access to all that in their enterprise space. And of course, the IT professional, the administrator, the one who has really faced the challenges of taking a secure environment and opening it up to whole new ways and being able to control which users have which applications. So since it's all running through HP Anywhere, the administrator can control which users have which applications. Pushing out new versions of an application, it's just a matter of pushing out to HP Anywhere. The security, they have access, it's all part of their same security solution. So HP Anywhere, by this model of having a server and how we integrate, it gives access to, it provides relief or benefit to all these three different people in the enterprise space. So now we're going to do the live demo. Now, in some of the screenshots, you've seen some of these different icons, different applications. The demo we're going to do now is actually one, it's based on a number of applications we wrote for HP-IT. HP-IT is one of the pilot rollout of HP Anywhere. And so this demo here will now show what is generally a painful process here in HP, but how by tying together the mobility with the social and all those aspects together was a fairly painful process, now becomes a much more integrated, holistic flow. So Alon's going to start us off here on the demo.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. So as Jonathan said previously, we will take a process that today is a manual process. It's a very cumbersome and complex process. And we will show how using HP Anywhere, this is actually much simpler and much easier to use. And what we actually chose is the expenses management process. You all know the EEM system. Now, I don't know about you, but today in Israel, when I go into a business trip, I have to take all of the invoices and all of the expenses, and then when I get back home, I need to enter them one by one, the location and the amount, and I have to take photocopies of all of the expenses and then file them out. And we actually thought about having an app, an HP Anywhere app, on top of HP Anywhere having the EEM application. And we will show you right now how easy it is to use with the collaboration of HP Anywhere. Now, I will be using my smartphone on the left. I'm the submitter. Jonathan will be my approver on the right using his tablet application. Now, what we can see here on the left is the My App screen. The My App screen actually holds all of the application that you have for HP Anywhere. It can be used also as a launcher for native enterprise applications as well. So we actually have a one-stop shop in the form of HP Anywhere. Now let's open the My Expenses application. Now we can see all of the expenses I previously created as part of my business trip. And let's say I'm having a meal with customers right now. So I would like to take a photo of this expense. Let's take a photo of the expense. It's in Hebrew, sorry. Some of you will know what that means. So let's decide to use this expense and start the process on the spot. No, not when I get back home. I decided to use this expense, starting from the image, and you can see that the location, the US, is pre-populated. So this is another one of the biggest strengths for HP Anywhere. We actually have all of these things for the apps. We have the native access, location, and the camera access. Let's decide to choose a meal. This is the category. And let's add a short description. My expensive meal. Very descriptive. All right, let's continue and add the amount. This is all done right when I have the meal, and click on next. I decided to attach this expense to an existing report I've already created. Let's say the New York report, because I started my business trip from New York. And now I can submit this expense right away, and my approver can get that and continue along the way. Let's decide to click on submit, see what happens.
All right, so I'm sitting here with my iPad. Now I have open right now the front page in HP Anywhere. Each one of these the front page is kind of your inbox of activities or things you're involved with inside your enterprise space. Each one of these rectangles you see, there are different activities that I'm talking, doing, operations, activities that I'm involved with. And you can see, now I had it open, so you can see there's this new one that just popped up in the top left, the blue icon. It's an unread one. Now actually, if I didn't have this application open, I could get a native notification that would pop up on my device, or I can get an email. I can create a system and send me an email if there's a new activity, and all this interaction can happen really outside of the space of this as well. But let's open that activity. And I see it's a New York report, and it opens up in the scope of the activity the expense approver application. And so I can see here, I can look at the reports, and I see the things, Benedict's, taxis, an expensive meal, $150. Well, that wasn't just a steak, that was a whole cow, huh? So I can, so now, in the past, I would have to reject the report. We've gone through some whole process, and offline, and back and forth, and taken time, and you never know when things will be finished. But now, because this application is running inside HP Anywhere, I can just open up the timeline. The timeline is kind of like the flow of what's been happening inside a specific activity. You know, system events, like it says on the Cruise Approve report, you know, different things. But I can also collaborate directly with Alon inside my application. So I can go now and just post a message to Alon and say, expensive meal. You know, I can write longer, but it's kind of painful here on this keyboard. So I sent him the message.
Okay, now I can see on my smartphone application, I can see on my smartphone front page, this one pops up, and I have updates available. In this one, I have all of my various activities, business activities that I can use. Almost. All right. Yeah, this is a 4G, and you're all in the same room. So I see a new notification for a New York report. Let's open this one. And when I open that one, I open it directly inside the chatter, inside the conversation, and we can collaborate with each other. You know, in the past, I was waiting for a day for my approver to approve that, but we can do it live. So what do you say? Well, I was simply hungry, right? I don't know. Just pay for that. And now Jonathan will get that in his chat.
So see, I didn't even move, and you see it appeared in my notification here in real time. The collaboration, because I had it open. But again, if it wasn't open, I would have seen the notification, or gotten an alert, or even if I was on Communicator. We can integrate with Communicator, and HP will hopefully roll that out as well. So I see this. Now obviously you can go back and forth, and there's no way I could approve that within really HP. But since, for this part, we're just assuming it's a demo, eventually I will approve this report here. So I approve his report. And the report's been approved. He receives a notification. And so we can see here this flow how by combining the application with the social and the tracking of the activity, all these different things together, this flow became much more seamless. And I mean, this is actually real stuff. I mean, HP-IT is rolling this stuff out now. And so you will be able to have these applications and all the future applications using this as well. So we see here again now, HP Anywhere, by combining all these different actions, these different types of activities, and the social fabric and all these things, these various forces that Alon spoke about, really combine and make a much more powerful impact and availability for the user. Now there's a lot of details here, there's a lot of features we didn't really touch on HP Anywhere, my architecture slide, But it's all going to be in the poster and stuff, and so you all look invited to stop by for any discussions or questions.
All right, thank you very much.